Namaste friends. Today I am going to discuss the importance of artificial light exposure on our body. Light, which is an invisible element, but it helps us see things around us. We habitually ignore the importance of light on our body. We are unaware that it impacts our mind and productivity extremely high. So let us get into the subject. Conceptually, building enclosure is our third skin after garments. Therefore, it should be a healthy enclosure to remain active and productive. Historically, we always talk about indoor air quality but very seldom light. Since mythological days, light is an important aspect which we often ignore. A major immunity booster, vitamin D, we get in abundance from solar light. We lit diya in front of God, burned Ravana on Dasera, we torch fire on Holi. Even Hiranyakashipu was killed at dusk by Narsingha avatar, that we all know. Then why God chosen such time? The mythology though provides different arguments, but science narrates it differently. Because human being remains highly active during dusk, we are going to discuss how light is affecting our productivity, and improper light resulting sick building syndrome is deterring our smooth and healthy life, reducing productivity and output. From morning till evening, our exposure to daylight ideally should go through different intensity and color to achieve an active and productive lifestyle. But in reality, we are far behind due to much exposure of artificial light on our body. Body needs oxygen, water, food to stay alive, and of course light to control other parameters like stress, mood, alertness, and last but not the least, productivity. Proper intake and exposure of all this in balanced proportion will help us leading to a smooth and active life, help augmenting productivity. In past, unknowingly we have received daylight, so we never paid so much attention on daylight. Now modern life, smart life, as you can say, as explained earlier, is making us think of intentional exposure of daylight during office hours too. International standards, well building standard, USGBC standard, etc. also coming up with new definition of healthy light, which is 300 lux should be provided to 50% of the working hours on 55% occupied area. At Western Electric's factory in the Hawthorne suburb of Chicago carried out a study between 1924 to 1933 to examine how different aspects of the work environment such as lighting, the time of breaks, and the length of the workday had impact on workers' productivity. It showed shop floor lighting has impact on productivity before it is impacted by other factors. Studies showed that higher light levels are linked with better performance of complex visual tasks, and it is also seen light requirement increases with age. Another interesting study known as Hirwagen study carried out in 1986. In this study, a prison cell was thoroughly experimented. It is observed that prison cell having external view are better off to courtyard view. It is also seen inmates in the upper floors are less sick than the inmates in the lower floor. So we must know how light talks to our body. We have a very wonderful circadian communication system in our body. Our eyes are gifted by God with two types of cell. One type is purely required for our vision, and the other type cell which does not require for vision. These cells are known as ganglion cell, discovered in very recently in year 2000. When we receive visible bandwidth of light on our retina, these ganglion cells send signal to another cell in our brain known as SCN, suprachiasmatic nucleus. These control our body clock on 24 hours basis and drive our body with various moods and activities depending on the time of the day. From 6 am in the morning to next day 6 am, our body temperature and blood pressure goes up and down depending on time and activity related to respective time of the day. This is purely controlled by light incidence on our body. 6 am pressure shoots up, followed by stoppage of melatonin secretion and go through high alertness, concentration, and finally at 9 pm melatonin starts secreting after incidence of yellow lights and we start feeling sleepy. Intrinsically, photosensitive retinal ganglion cell control this biorhythmic clock. Rods, the other cell, facilitate peripheral and dim light vision. 498 nanometer green blue light. Cones, the another cell, facilitates daytime vision and color perception. 555 nanometer green yellow light. Traditional lighting system is designed to deliver illumination and energy efficiency. That's all. It failed to address other two requirements. To satisfy other two parameters, we have another lighting system known as circadian lighting. Lighting has 4 spectral dimensions: illumination, human health, human productivity, and energy efficiency. Balancing all this in right proportion, we need to have a lighting system which can deliver all this. Circadian lighting design actively and efficiently balances all 4 dimensions of light, whereas traditional lighting addresses only 2 aspects: illumination and energy efficiency. It is observed human alertness is proportionate to wavelength of light and color temperature. We are very active under violet light, lesser active in blue light, and very low active in yellow light. This dictates the requirement of light with color in our daily cycle to satisfy biorhythmic demand. So, to mimic daylight signal on our body, science has been coming out with various research and findings. As of now, the best guideline value to design the indoor light system is K value. This K value recommends the intensity of light in a typical and ideal office ambience at different time of the working hours at the office. But in reality, we have constant exposure of color and temperature because of ignorance of K value. If you see on the left, artificial lighting travels directly from source to destination without having much diffusion due to direct and vertical incidence, whereas major share of daylight travels to occupant space horizontally through windows and limited light is allowed from skylight. But reflective ceiling, luminaries, shade, dust particle contribute largely to disperse the illumination evenly and diffused judiciously. More light per light is nothing but an angle of incidence changes the service quality of light. We have selected a typical office floor in Mumbai building as a case to conduct our study. Left side picture indicates the intensity of daylight around the workstation near windows, whereas central hall and farthest area from window is deprived of daylight. This disparity can be addressed through some instrumental means to reduce dependency on artificial lights. This hall of 9,000 square feet active area, if potentially developed with circadian lighting system, would give rise to a healthy ambience and energy efficient floor. The intensity of light has been plotted in this diagram and current situation is simulated here. We have seen 1000 lux at window side gradually becoming 0 between 7.5 to 12.5 meter on both west and south side from window. The consumption of energy has been simulated and found to be an encouraging data which deserve further study and technological solution for larger application. The calculation shows 0.4 kilowatt hour unit can be reduced 0.2 kilowatt hour unit with these circadian fittings. We are still carrying out further discussion with eminent lighting architect and soon we will come up with a floor with further detailed calculation along with empirical data. Currently though, some manufacturers claim to have some solution already in the market, but in reality it has to pass through a lot of quality tests to understand their correctness. Current pandemic has taught us the concept of preventive healthcare through building immunity by having good food, quality air, healthy surrounding, etc. It is found to have an important starting point in healing architecture and create an environment conducive to good health. The presence of windows in the workplace and access to daylight have been linked with increased satisfaction. In this journey, light is playing greatly in ensuring occupants' health quality. Adequate and appropriate exposure to light is critical for health and well-being of occupants and visitors. However, natural light should be incorporated into lighting design in preventive healthcare settings. Not only because it is beneficial to occupants and other support staff, but also because the light is delivered at no cost and in the form that most people prefer. Light is fastest moving entity in this universe, and Einstein perceived light in a very interesting scientific way. He mathematically proved, having traveled at a double speed of light we can reach yesterday. But our mind is even faster than light. It can travel any distance just at the drop of a hat. So taking care, mind will deliver more mindful output. And finally, before concluding my discussion, I must say, these invisible productivity boosters of our employees on work floor must be addressed correctly to help visual acuity and biorhythmic synchronization to become more effective and relevant. That's all from my side for today. Thank you.